Okay, welcome everyone. 15 minutes of positivity. It's Tuesday. Yesterday we had uh, a small faithful group, and the theme was remembrance. And I think we did a pretty interesting little meditation on, using memory to. I mean, memory is obviously of the past by definition, but we can take some time to introspect on the past to figure out, how do I want that to inform my present or my future? So you might want to check out that video, which is, by the way, citclinics.com on YouTube. We upload all of these videos. I mean, there's literally hundreds of them up there right now. So if that's useful to you, great, go check them out if you miss a session. Okay, so the theme for today is it's Tuesday, so Attention Training Tuesday. This hairy looking fella is one of my all-time heroes. I love his style. His name's Robert Sapolsky. He is a primatologist and a professor of neurosciences at Stanford, and just writes, albeit pretty dense books, but if you're a geek like me, it's super interesting. And he basically has the ability to kind of break down this complex neuroscience into things that someone like myself can sort of kind of understand some of the time. So, just looking at him, like he's the guy that, if I could have dinner with any one person on planet Earth, this is that guy for me. So anyway, here's what he has to say. Probably the most interesting fact about human development is that the frontal cortex is the last part of the brain to fully mature. It is not completely online until you're about 25 years old, which is mind-boggling to think about. And I think what he's referring to there in terms of it being mind-boggling is that the part of our brain that essentially makes us human, right, differentiates us fundamentally from many of the other mammals on planet Earth, takes a quarter of a century to actually get wired up and mature. And so the question is, wow, that seems kind of odd. Why might that be? And what he suggests is that the answer to it is that it's the part of our brain that allows for nuance, and nuance about things like, murder or lying. So, the point would be, like, most cultures say lying is not a good thing. Most human cultures on planet Earth over time and even today sort of have some rules about, yeah, people that don't tell the truth, that's a bad thing. Except when Aunt Mildred on, Easter Sunday shows off her crazy hat and says, "Hey, Ollie, what do you think of my Easter hat?" And then enters this peculiar gray zone of the white lie. Like, well, in that case, you don't want to be a jerk. So you want to be able to say, yeah, it's a beautiful hat, even though it's not actually really, the truth of what you're experiencing. And so there's this nuance of knowing, yeah, for the most part, this is not okay. Yet there are circumstances in which we can do that. And the idea behind the prefrontal cortex is it takes a long time and lots of repetition and lots of experience for us to be able to begin to parse out these nuances and the complexity of culture and so same thing with killing people, generally very much frowned upon. And yet, there's times if I need to defend my kids from someone who's doing something violent, everyone would look at me and say, yeah, of course you were justified in killing someone. And so again, it's this, like, how do we make sense of all of that? And so that's the one of the primary roles of the prefrontal cortex. And what takes it so long to actually get uh, completely online or fully wired up is this magical process called myelination. So myelination refers to, we've seen these videos before that I've shown you guys. I don't know if I have time to show it again today, but you have these, neurons. We have hundreds, about 100 billion of them, and they all communicate with each other through these axons and dendrites, right? They sort of work towards each other based on behavior, and then they connect. That's just the beginning of the connection part, which then gets solidified or really reinforced with this yellow stuff here. This is the myelin sheath, and it's basically it's a fatty tissue that surrounds the axons of neurons that are continuously or repetitively firing. And so you can think of it as the rubber around the electrical cord, right? So we need that to insulate the electrical signal from stuff around it. That's how we don't get electrocuted. So the same thing here, and this takes time and repetition to form. So myelination is fundamentally driving what we would then subjectively experience as habit formation or behavior change. The more we do it, the more these axons and dendrites connect, and then they develop this fatty tissue that says, okay, this is a connection that we're going to use over and over again. So going back to attention training, which is the point of today. Oh, here's the figured, let me take a few seconds just to show this one, right? So here you can see the axon is searching. You can see the dendrites on the other neuron down below, and then boom, suddenly this magical connection happens. And once that connection is established and formed, if it's reused over and over again, then the myelination process starts. So what better subject for us to focus on than attention training? This is something that we want really well myelinated, and we can practice it. So let's activate our attention today. So close your eyes for a second. Slowing down, taking a deep breath. And the goal here today, the reason I wanted to show you all these visuals, is I want you to imagine during this guided meditation today, I want you to visualize what is happening at this neurological level in your brain as we do what we're about to do. I want you to have this image of those two neurons searching for each other and then making that connection. And then once the connection is established, I want you to imagine that connection getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because we're wrapping this fatty protective tissue around that specific connection. And then the magic of the brain as this happens hundreds of millions, billions of times. And so let's activate our attention. And I want you to focus on your belly right now. Bring your full attention to the experience of having a belly. So maybe just start with noticing the underlying sensory experience. Does your belly feel full? Is it empty? Does it feel jittery? Feel calm? And the goal is not to change anything. The muscle we're flexing here is attention. So it's really just about shining the spotlight of your attention on the experience of having a belly. Just noticing what's there. Stay with it. Noticing breath coming and going. Really getting curious about what's going on in the belly right now. If your mind wanders, gently reorient your attention back to the belly. In order for us to have this subjective experience of focus on the belly, There's all kinds of magical stuff happening between our ears. Neurotransmitters are being swapped back and forth. Electrical charges are going all over the place. Oxygen and glucose is being consumed, all in service of us being able to have the subjective experience of feeling into the sensation of having a belly right now. And now let's shift the locus of our attention to our mouth. I don't know if you've done this yet today, but I want you to notice what it's like to have a mouth. You got a tongue, an upper palate, lower palate, and teeth. See if you can maintain your full focus of attention on the inside of your mouth. You can move your tongue around if that helps. And again, noticing what it's like to have the subjective experience of focusing our attention on the inside of our mouth. In order for that to happen, kinds of magical stuff happening between our ears. And notice how as we focus on the inside of our mouth, we've kind of lost track of what's going on in the belly. So let's switch back. Let's shine the spotlight of attention back to our belly. Noticing the hardness or softness, movement. So the main point of this exercise is to notice what it's like when we flex our attentional control abilities, focusing on the belly, focusing on the mouth, something we probably don't do that frequently, then back to the belly. And as we do that, or in order to do that, our brain needs to do all kinds of things. And the more we practice this really selective, focused attention, the more those connections between the neurons that allow us to do that get strengthened. And the driver of this strengthening is this process called myelination. Take a deep breath in. Exhale all the way. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another deep breath in. Exhale all the way. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. Come on back to the session. We're out of time, but I hope this serves as a bit of a reminder that we are what we repeatedly do. And when it comes to attention training, it's not that hard. It's rather simple, but what's difficult about it is just remembering to do it. And of course, the more we do it, the more we activate this underlying neurobiology that I just shared with you. So hope that was helpful. Take care, everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow. I'll stick around for a few more minutes.